Welcome to the commentary for my LEGO Lord of the Rings restricted any percent world record. I am the Detra, I am a LEGO speedrunner and currently the world record holder in this category. This video will be an explanation but also some sort of tutorial for everyone who is interested to run this category. Hello, post-production Detra here. Since my world record, there have been so many new strats discovered by a lot of runners. This run has basically gotten a new renaissance. My record has since been beaten, I think twice, by the runner Flop, and the theoretical best for this run was lowered by about 5 minutes. I cannot cover all of the strats because they aren't relevant for this run. I plan to do another video in about 1 or 2 months to cover all the new strats. For that, all you need to do is go to the speedrun page of LEGO Lord of the Rings, click on show more categories and then onto restricted any percent, and then finally on no cut 5. This is the category that this video is all about. Before we can run this game though, we have to look at the rules. The game rules mostly talk about how to run your game and how to not run your game. Most runners play on PC. PC has by far the fastest load times, so most runners run on there. Now let's get to the category rules. Let's go through each rule one by one. Complete the game from a fresh save file. In any percent and also restricted any percent, the goal is to start from the main menu, click on new game and then play through the 3 movies until you get to the last level, Mount Doom. The second rule talks about the VSync option in LEGO Lord of the Rings. If you don't know, VSync is an option in LEGO games and also a lot of other games to cap your FPS to 60 Hz or even turn it off so you can have unlimited FPS. Restricted any percent gives us the restriction to cap our FPS to 60. The skipping levels is allowed rule talks about the existence of NLE, no levels early. In that category, you are not allowed to skip any of the levels. But in this category and also any percent, we skip quite a lot of levels, which saves a lot of time during the run. Next rule, the no cut 5 rule, implies the use of the cheat code no cut 5. You can put this cheat code in most newer LEGO games to skip all the cutscenes. If you put in this cheat code on a separate file before quitting to the main menu and starting a new game, you can actually skip cutscenes from a fresh save file. This of course is a separate category from the standard category, but I just decided to run no cut 5 because I don't really like long categories. The last rule, the solo rule, talks about you having to play alone. You are not allowed to let another person play for you. The can use 2 controllers rule is special to every LEGO game. In every LEGO game, you can call in player 2 and play with another person in co-op. But the LEGO community is a bit special here. We are actually allowed to use both players at the same time, which means we have to play on 2 controllers. Of course, you are allowed to also use keyboard or any other input method that works for this game. If we use both players at the same time, this is called 1P2C. Or 1 player, 2 controllers. I myself use controller on player 1 and keyboard on player 2. I use my entire right hand to play on the controller and my entire left hand to play on keyboard. 1P2C saves a lot of time during the run. It allows us to do puzzles way faster and also allows for quite some glitches. If you want to know more about 1P2C, watch this great video by Frostillo. I will have it linked in the video description. As you can see on the bottom of my layout, I have an input viewer for both controller and keyboard. As I already said, my controller is player 1 and keyboard my player 2. On the left side you can see Live Split. Live Split is used to time your runs, loadless, but also split your individual level times to track your progress on each one. So let's go into the run now. This first section of Prologue isn't really that interesting. There are always waves of orcs jumping at you. Just try to kill the orcs as fast as possible when they jump in. In the first section there are 5 normal orcs that you have to kill, and then in the second section there are 3 orcs with shields. At the end of this section I drop in player 2. This is the first part of the run that uses 1P2C. After a camera pan, we switch to Elendil and destroy the pillars. While we destroy all the pillars with player 1, we kill the orcs with the shields with player 2 to save some time. The first level in every LEGO game is a bit special on the status screen. At the end of every LEGO level, there is a status screen that shows how many stats and how many minikits you have collected. However, in the first level of each game, you are not able to skip the status screen. But if we finish the level with 0 stats on both players, we actually skip the status screen of the true adventurer, which saves quite some time. So at any point we have to wait for something, we kill ourselves to lose all of our stats. This fight with Sauron isn't really that interesting. You just wait until he hits his big weapon on the ground and then destroy it with Narsil, the sword of Elendil. This repeats itself 3 times. In the meantime, between the cycles, we can kill ourselves by the orcs to lose all of our stats. So after we've given the 3rd hit to Sauron, we go to the next section and skip a cutscene. Did you catch that? That was the first use of the most important trick in the run, the triple jump. In most LEGO games, you're only able to jump twice. Normally when you double jump, you cannot do anything out of it until you hit the ground again. But for example, in LEGO Star Wars The Complete Saga, you can jump and then press attack. This executes a jump slash. Normally you are not able to do a jump slash out of a double jump, but in LEGO Lord of the Rings, you are. This allows us to double jump and then press attack to gain even more distance. We use this quite a lot in the run to jump over some pretty big gaps. We triple jump over this gap so we don't have to collect the 2 blue stats. Remember, we want to end the level with 0 stats. Right here I do another triple jump to skip over a blue stat. This next triple jump is a bit tricky, but with some practice you can get it. You might have noticed that at the end of every triple jump I press attack and then jump. This is due to a jump slash having a lot of end lag when you land on the ground. So we want to cancel the animation as fast as possible to start moving again. Another triple jump around these rocks brings us to the last area. Here there are once again 3 waves of orcs. You just kill them all, and in the downtime when you have time between the waves, you just kill yourselves to lose some stats. After we kill the last orc, we can go into Mount Doom. Here once again we jump over some blue stats, so we don't have to get rid of them. In the volcano, the death plane is a bit special. If you jump down right here, you actually die twice and lose 3000 stats, which is pretty special. If you have less than 3000 stats in this area, you can just kill yourselves once and then end the level. As I've already said, the status screen here isn't skippable due to it being the first level. You can see that the stat and the true adventure status screen don't even pop up. That saves quite some time, so we can just end the level with 0 stats and save that time. Prologue split in my world record isn't really that good. It is probably the weakest of the splits in the whole run. After a cutscene that we can skip, we arrive in Hobbiton and walk to the next level. The next level starts in the field of Farmer Maggot. You might know him from this scene. So we take a trip through Farmer Maggot's field and jump into the trigger for the next level. In the Black Rider, you are normally forced into a crouch state. In this state, you cannot jump, you can only roll around on the ground. However, we can use a glitch to not get into the crouch state and still be able to jump. Do this by holding the drop-in button or F2 on my player 2 before skipping the cutscene. This drops in my player 2 into a non-crouch state. You are forced to climb over this tree stump, we cannot jump over it. During this, we can drop out player 2 and switch our player 1 to some. After throwing the rock at the bird, we can climb over this tree stump and jump over the last one. We don't know why the third one is different, but it works, I guess. We double jump right in front of the hedge to land there and immediately go in after the camera pan is finished. We jump off of the plank as soon as possible to scare away the bird. After that, we just jump into the transition to the next section. Here we do the exact same thing as before. We hold in drop in or F2 to drop in our second player in a non-crouch state. Wait a second, why is the Black Rider stuck back there? You might have noticed in the section before, I've waited a bit before going into the next section. I waited just enough to let the Black Rider start moving again. When he's moving and we go into the next section, he just gets stuck back there. Since he's stuck, he cannot block us from going anywhere. Here we do a jump on some invisible collision to get up onto the bridge. Normally there's the Black Rider right there, but he cannot get there because he's stuck. From there it's a simple jump into the transition. This next section is the first of 3 auto-scrollers. You cannot do anything to speed them up. This ends the level. My Black Rider split was pretty good, but so are all of them. In my old PB I just had a bad split right here, so I caught up. In this next section on the world map, we want to get both players into Bree. Our goal is to take the most direct line with both players. As we arrive in Bree with player 1, we continue walking straight ahead into the blacksmith. Before we go in there though, we trigger the quest with player 2. Right here is my favorite voice line in this game. Just listen.
You look like a helpful sort. Fancy making me a mithril trowel to replace my tatty old one? For your trouble, I'll let you in on a secret to help you seek out other quests.
After we get the quest, we go into the blacksmith. In the blacksmith, we pick up a blacksmith design, and then we start to forge it. There isn't anything to speed this forging process up, so we just have to wait. After we get our shovel, we finish the quest with player 2. After we finish the quest, we walk into the prancing pony.
Thanks for your help.
After the prancing pony, we now have access to Aragorn. You might notice that the UI is a bit bugged. This is completely normal. It doesn't happen every time, but it is actually pretty often. If you encounter this bug yourself, just press Alt-Tab and Alt-Tab again to go back into the game. This should have it fixed. We take the most direct line as possible to Weathertop. We can use this rock to save some time. Weathertop is a very 1p2c heavy level, so practice it a lot. Let's look at each player individually. With player 1, we walk to the bottom and destroy the bush. If you jump slash an object, it gets destroyed immediately, so you don't have to hit it multiple times. After we plant the plant with some, we destroy this rock on top and build it. We switch back to some and destroy the tomato plant. Our goal for this section is to build a campfire and then use our frying pan to cook some food. So we pick up the fish and then destroy this bush back here. After the camera pan finishes, we can pick up the egg. Afterwards, we light the campfire and cook our food. With player 2, we first do a fishing puzzle. When we're finished, we walk to the top and push the rock to go into the hedge. On top, we jump slash the bush, get the wood, and then jump over the monkey bars. Then we hit the bird nest. After the camera pan, we pick up the wood from the bush that player 1 has destroyed and put our 2 wood into the campfire. In this next section, we destroyed the 2 objects with player 1 and then built the bridge. If you jump perfectly on the end of the bridge, you can get a yeet to save some time. I can show you a clip of a successful one right here. We walk over the bridge with both players and then triple jump around an invisible wall. Keep in mind when doing your triple jumps to do your slash as late as possible. You can do it when you're on the height of the platform you want to land on. Jump up with player 1 and do a triple jump to the campfire. We build the campfire and light it with some and get player 2 into position. After the way is free, we can walk up with player 2 onto this rock and do a double jump on top. Here we also jump into some weak collision and do a double jump to get up there. This next section is pure 1p2c now. Our objective is to light 5 campfires with our player 1 Sam. Since the task of lighting all the campfires takes longer than the task of player 2, we prioritize player 1. Our goal is to have all the campfires built with player 2 when player 1 arrives at them. The last room of the level is still pure 1p2c. This time we will look at each player individually again. With player 1, build the campfire and light it. After that, light the torch that you already have in your inventory and pick up the rock. After that, throw the rock up to the statue on top. Pick up the torch that drops from the statue and light it. From there, hit the 2 nozzles with your 2 torches. For player 2, you can just hit the first nozzle with your torch and then pick up the rock on the bottom. Throw it at the statue on top and pick up the other rock. Pick up the torch that drops from the statue and then light it. Hit another nozzle with your lit torch and then throw the rock at the statue on the bottom. Pick up the torch, light it, and then hit the last nozzle. This ends the level. My weather top in my world record was really good. I golded it. But it is still not perfect and I know I can still save more time. After a cutscene we sit on a horse. Horses are pretty cool in this game. When you jump, you don't lose momentum, so you can do 360s as many as you want. We make our way to Rivendell as fast as possible. In Rivendell we skip a cutscene and walk to the Council of Elrond. We take a shorter line right here around the waterfall. During the Council of Elrond, there's this iconic line.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
We switch to Legolas and then walk to the next level. Right here you have to shoot 3 targets. And then you can jump over the falling rocks. Be careful to not jump too early. or you will die from the kill plane on top of the rocks. The Pause of Characters, the next level, is very 1P2C heavy and also is the longest level in the entire run. At the start we switch to Gimli and jump over this snow pile. Normally small characters like dwarves and hobbits get stuck in these snow piles, but we can do a tight jump over them. We go down the hedge with Gimli, destroy the rock and immediately go back into the hedge. We do this so we don't have to wait for Gimli to go through the hedge after the camera pan. After that, we pick up Gimli and throw him at the rock on top.
Nobody tosses a dwarf!
We jump up with Legolas to the monkey bars and push down the rock. Now let's go over each player individually again. With player 1, Gimli, we jump over this snow gap and then jump down to this little balcony. We switch to Aragorn to get Gimli over to Legolas. So I pick up Gimli. I wanna get him down to this little balcony so the throwing over to Legolas is easier and more consistent. After that, I switch to Legolas, put Gimli down and then shoot the targets. With player 2, I make sure to jump over the deep snow so I don't walk slowly across it, and then I do a triple jump over the gap. When I'm on the other side, I shoot these rocks so Legolas stays on that side. Sometimes the AI behavior in this level is really bugged and Legolas just jumps back to the other side or something other happens, so I make sure that that doesn't. I triple jump over the deep snow and then triple jump over the gap. After shooting all of the targets, we jump across with both players and then our goal is to build a campfire. There are 3 boxes and I destroy 2 of them with Legolas because he has a bow and he can destroy them from afar. I put the 3 planks into the campfire and light it with some. I build the ballista or war machine with player 2 and jump on top of it with player 1. Then I shoot it with player 2. By placing Legolas on top of the ballista, we can start walking during the camera pan because it snaps us onto the rope. Here we only shoot the first 2 targets because we can jump across from the second one. Then just hit the target and wait for the camera pan to finish. Wait until Gimli jumps up to Legolas, switch to him with player 2 and pick him up with player 1. Then throw him at the target. Jump up with both players and try to jump as far as possible with Gimli so we only have to walk a small part with him in hand. Go through the hedge and at the top destroy the rock. Start building the campfire with player 1, get some up to the top, light the campfire and then switch back to Gimli again. Try to dodge all of the falling rocks if possible. As you can see, I keep switching between Legolas and Sam. Most of the time, Sam stays beside the campfire, so we try to avoid that and get him over the part where the ice wall once was. From there, he should follow you. Throw Gimli at the rock, switch to Sam, and then immediately jump over with both players. Triple jump over the deep snow to not get stuck, and then dig up the hedge. Also jump over with Legolas so you can start building the hedge. Then do a tight double jump over the deep snow. Go through the hedge with Gimli and triple jump around an invisible wall with Legolas. When Gimli is on the bottom, destroy the rock. Make sure that Sam goes through the hedge during the camera pan. You can do this by jumping over with Legolas on your first try and then switching to him. Dig up the bridge with Sam and then walk over with Gimli. With Legolas, shoot the targets and then build the rock for Gimli to smash. With Gimli, make sure to not get caught by the wind. After that, walk into the transition with Legolas. With player 1, jump attack to get this plank. Then jump onto this little balcony and then double jump into the corner to roll up some collision. You go over the plank and push down the rock. After that, you put your planks into the campfire and build the stone. For player 2, we switch to some and then jump slash the little boat. Pick up the wood and then dig out the campfire. Build the campfire and then walk to the left to pick up the last plank. In my world record I was way faster with player 2, so I picked up the plank with player 2. If I was fast with player 1, I would have picked it up with player 1. After you've already been once on top of the platform where the statue once was, you can jump from this tree stump. We light the campfire with player 2 and switch to Gimli. Then we switch to Boromir so we can pick up Gimli and throw him up to Legolas. You have to switch off of Legolas or the throwing won't work as intended. You double jump over with Gimli, destroy the rock and build the door to end the section. In this last room there are 4 tentacles that you have to destroy first. We switch to Legolas and Gimli. This room is pure RNG. You cannot do anything about the tentacles not charging at you. If they do this specific attack, you can attack them right there. That destroys one of the tentacles. What can always happen is that the tentacles do a different attack, like throwing a rock at you or swinging at you. Both of those other attacks lose about 10 seconds, so you can lose a lot of time here if the RNG isn't right. But don't be discouraged. I've once lost a minute on a record pace run. Pick up Gimli and throw him at the rock that the Watcher in the water is holding up. After that, you just have to shoot him in the eye. The same thing happens again, but you first get thrown at by some rocks. My Karara split in this run was really good, it was almost a gold. But since Caradhras is such a long level, and also a really hard level, there's still so much time to be saved here. Moria starts off with a pretty hard 1p2c section. Let's go through each player individually again. With player 1, switch to Some and then light the campfire on the right. Switch to Legolas and shoot the target. Pick up the key that has been dropped behind the campfire. Put it into the keyhole, pick up the cog and then put it into the correct spot. For player 2, switch to Gimli, destroy the rock and then switch over to Aragorn. Punch both boxes on each side of the well and then build what comes out. Switch back to Gimli and pick up the handle that is dropped. Walk to the well, put it in and then just spam special. Walk forward with Gimli to build the barricades on both sides of the door. With Legolas, shoot both of the targets and then jump onto one of the hanging bars. Jump onto the other bar with Gimli. You cannot do anything to speed this next section up, so we just go up there and wait until the section is over. After about a minute of waiting, a cutscene plays. With Legolas, run as fast as possible onto the left side, destroy the rock and stand on top of it. With Gimli, build the bottom pad and then stand on it too. Ideally, you want the troll to not take a swing and instantly go to Legolas and then instantly go to Gimli. I didn't get it in my run, so that loses a bit of time. When the troll swings at you, jump up to not get hit and then shoot him into the eye. Walk to the other side with Legolas and do the exact same thing. With Gimli, build the hedge. After the cutscene, your player 1 will be the hobbit on top of the troll. Build the hedge as fast as possible with Gimli and then switch to Legolas. After hitting the troll enough times, you can shoot him into the face. Go through the hedge with any hobbit as fast as possible. Try to get the troll as close as possible to the hedge with Legolas. If the cave troll isn't close enough to the hobbit, he will have to walk to him, like you can see right here. This loses quite some time, so try to avoid that. Bring the troll over to the other side, so he is closer to the other hedge. Once again, go through the hedge as fast as possible with any hobbit. Shoot the troll a third time to end the section. This section is a semi-auto-scroller. There are always orcs jumping at you. Try to kill them as fast as possible. Right here I switch to Pippin. Pippin has the fastest attack animations out of all the fellowship, so he can kill the orcs the fastest. Of course we will still help him with player 2. After killing the last orc, switch to any character except for Gimli. There will be a camera pan. During this camera pan, every character except for your player 1 and player 2 will start moving to the door. You don't want either Pippin nor Gimli on your player 1 or 2, because we will need them for the next puzzle. I forgot to switch off of Pippin, but that's okay. With player 2, switch to Gimli and keep running. Smash the rock at the top with Gimli and then build the cart. Gimli will always be slower in this section, so try to prioritize him. With Pippin, pick up the water and then put out the fire. Switch to Gandalf and put the cock in place. Then jump slash the barrel and pick up the handle. Put it in place, spin the handle and then go through the door with Gimli. After the cutscene, spam any button to end the camera pan as soon as possible. If you don't press any buttons, it will go on for way longer. Drop down with any player into the transition. Immediately switch to Boromir. Here there is a really tight triple jump around a pretty big invisible wall. Right here you can see I got stuck on this invisible wall, so try to jump around it. This last section is another complete auto-scroller. It depends on how fast Gandalf is, but you cannot really speed it up that much. As Gandalf, always hold the jump button in the air to fall as fast as possible. Then when you land on the Balrog, start spamming attack, and then when the button prompt pops up, press special. With player 2, you can let yourself as much time as you want. Your goal is to get Gimli in front of the door. Just jump over with Legolas after you've shot the arrow and then throw Gimli over. The Balrog will have 3 cycles. You cannot skip any of these. Just when the whiteout is almost complete, switch off of Gandalf. Try not to stand too close to the door or Gimli will die. Then just destroy the rock with Gimli and jump into the transition to end the level. My Moria split wasn't really good at all. I had quite a lot of mistakes. You can save a lot of time to this level, to my gold and also to the rest of the runners' goals. Go onto the map and then warp to Lothlorien. It is faster to warp there than walk there. After skipping the cutscene, all you need to do here is press attack to use your rudder. The first section of a Manhattan is complete 1p2c. Let's once again look at each player individually. With player 1, we are in a crouch position, which means we can only roll around. You take the rock from the bottom and then throw it at the bird. You want to constantly be rolling around because it is way faster than just walking normally. Take as tight as a line as possible to the hedge. Remember to keep rolling. Once you're through the hedge, we make the big sequence break. If you are close enough to this pushable pillar, the game thinks you are able to jump, so you can jump right there. When you're in the air, you can jump slash and land on the collision on the side. Then you can just roll to the end of the level without ever getting caught by Boromir. And then when Frodo puts on the ring, just spam special and then a cutscene will play. For player 2, you start off with Aragorn, destroy the rudder on the right, pick up the torch and light it. With the lit torch you can then burn down the fallen tree. Switch to Legolas and then jump over the burnt tree. Jump onto this tightrope and at the top shoot the target. Try to overlap this camera pan with Frodo going through the hedge. Then you don't have to wait for Frodo to go through the hedge after the camera pan. Jump down and build a trampoline, switch to Gimli, walk up and destroy the rock. An alternative strat, which is right now not used in the run, is to switch to Gimli right here, jump over the dead tree and do a precise roll on this root to get up. Then you could destroy the rock from there. Now we also have to get Aragorn up there, so we immediately switch to him and do the exact same roll right here. Once the tree is destroyed, we switch to Aragorn and walk to the next spot. We go into the upper left corner and do a jump roll. Once again, there is a slight incline slope that we can use to roll up there, and from there we can just jump and skip the entire puzzle. Now before Frodo gets to the top part with Sauron, we jump into this little corner behind the tree and hope that we get stuck. We land right here in a double jump state and we will build up infinite momentum. Though we don't need infinite, we just need enough. After you skip the cutscene, just hold up on player 2 and you should launch over the wall. Pick up the sword with Aragorn and then walk along the green footsteps. For this next section, we switch player 1 to Legolas and player 2 to Gimli. Try to shoot the right two ones with Legolas and then kill the rest with Gimli. Kill the leftmost Uruk-hai with Legolas while breaking the pillars with Gimli. Try to wipe out two of the Uruk-hais with shields with Gimli because Legolas is slower and can only take out one. Pick up Gimli and throw him at the rock, and then you can kill all of the Uruk-hai. There will be two with shields jumping at you, so each one can take one. With Gimli walk up, and with Legolas you can shoot the two on the left and the one on the right. This section is really simple. All you need to do is switch to a hobbit and then go through the hedge. And then at the top, hit the Uruk-hai. You do the exact same thing on phase 2, but first you have to jump slash the rocks with player 2, so you can go in with the hobbit. You walk to the right of the room with a hobbit and then build the springboard. Try to kill as many urukai with player 2. Sometimes the urukai just grab the 2 hobbits and you cannot do anything about it, so just try to take them out. This section is really easy. Once he throws his shield and jumps down, then you can hit him, otherwise you will soft lock and have to restart the whole section. Then you go to each side of the arena to take out the urukais with each player. You double jump up with Aragorn, so the urukai doesn't have to throw his knives as far, which is faster. At last he will throw a shield at you, but he just cannot aim and completely misses. And when he grabs his shield, then you can hit him, otherwise you will once again soft lock. You do the exact same thing as before, just kill the urukais and then go to the middle so he won't throw his knives that far. When he throws his shield he will jump down and you just have to attack him and keep attacking him with both players. He will always pick up one of your players, just hit him with the other one. That ends the level. My hand split was pretty good. I ended Fellowship under 42 minutes, which is really good. It's almost golded, but there's still quite a lot of time to save right here. And even more time if you implement the strat I've showed you in room 1. When you gain control, go to the map, then go to the map stone, because it is faster to actually warp there and not walk to the next level. Taming Golem is probably the most difficult level in the entire run. It is full 1p2c in the entire first room. When the level starts, double jump with both players to save a bit of time. Let's go through each player individually again. With player 1 on the left with Gandalf, you jump slash these pieces so they get destroyed instantly and you don't have to hit them multiple times. After you have destroyed each one, you can then get the red stair and just place it right there so you can jump up. Then take as tight of a line as possible to the next part. Just about when you hit the second row of silver studs, you can do a double jump. If done correctly, you can immediately start building once the camera pan ends. There are 2 things you can do right here. Either you can jump on this pillar and then double jump up. This is quite a difficult jump and loses some time if you don't get it first try. Alternatively, you could also just destroy the support below. Now just walk around in the circle until you get to this staircase and that should trigger the Balrog fight. We can skip each cycle of the Balrog by just walking in front of him. Then he does his grab attack and you just dodge that grab. Then he will immediately end his phase. After a camera pan, just walk to where the lightning is, press special and aim for the glowing red part. We once again walk up to him, dodge his grab, send him front, and then he will end his cycle. This time the lightning is on the right, so just walk over there and do the exact same thing. We do the exact same thing for number 3. Here you see I actually missed the cycle skip, so he grabbed me and I got thrown back. Then he does one of his regular attacks and we can get on close again. This time we do dodge his grab, we get pushed away and the last lightning is in the middle. Just aim for his lower belly. Player 2 is quite a bit more difficult. Keep in mind that you have to do everything at the same time. So use the rope with some and then destroy all the plants here to build the ladder and then go up and grab the fish. Switch to Frodo to walk into this cave and then switch back to Sam so he can dig out the next fish. Pick up the fish and then keep walking to the right side. Jump onto the top part of this statue and from there we have a really difficult triple jump over here. This is the most difficult triple jump in the entire game because it is at a special angle. and also we have to 1p2c the whole part, so it is even harder. From here you can double jump over, but I do a triple jump just to be safe. Destroy this rock back here and then pick up the wood. Your goal is once again to build a campfire and then light it. Destroy this bush at the bottom and pick up the wood, and then, because we have no inventory space, we dig up the campfire. Put in both of your wood, try to not drop it on the ground like I did, and then you can destroy the last bush to get the third plank. When Gandalf is over, there's a camera pen, but also when the campfire is lit, there's another camera pen. So we try to overlap those by lighting the campfire right before we deal the last hit with Gandalf. So now both of the camera pans play at the same time. The camera is a bit bugged here, but that's completely normal if you do this. With Frodo now on your player 1, you have to do the exact same triple jump as with player 2. I failed it here once, but that's okay. Just try it again. Jump up to the fish with player 2 and then pick up the fish. An older strat that has never really been used is this strat where you jump and then grab the fish like this. It is very inconsistent and not really reliable. With Frodo, jump onto the rock right here to get up to the hedge and then go through. And with some, push down the rocks there. Jump across with Frodo to get the fish in the cave. With some, grab this fish and throw it into the bucket. Also grab the other fish and throw that in too. Then also run with Frodo to the bucket to throw in the last fish. If you drop the fish somewhere on your path, that is fine, it will reappear in your inventory. In this room, focus mainly on player 2. With some, go up and then destroy the plant to get the stick. Drop down and start digging. Then, once it's finished, start building and then use the rope. I waited quite a bit before throwing the fish with Frodo, so Sam doesn't always just pull out his rope when he wants to construct the fishing rod. Go into the dark cave with Frodo and then pick up the rope and drop it so Sam can pick it up and construct this fishing rod. Then pick up the hook. Position player 1 with Frodo and switch to his sword, then drop out player 2, switch to Sam, activate the Frodo fight and then immediately hit Sam from the back. If you do this correctly, you'll skip the entire cycle with Gollum. You know if you did it correctly if the rope is bugged, like it is for me. Then start fishing for a fish and when it comes out, pick it up and immediately throw it at Gollum. Once again, position Sam and then position Frodo. Activate the Gollum fight and then hit him. After that, once again go fishing and then pick up the fish and throw it at Gollum. We once again hit Sam immediately after he activates the fight with Gollum. This should end the level. This split was really good, but of course there is so much optimization due to the 1p2c, so it is improvable but really hard. At the start of this level, make sure to not go too close to Gollum or else he will trigger a cutscene pan. I walked behind this dead bush just to go sure. Then jump onto this root and wait for the AI player 2 to walk over. Once he's about there, you can switch to him. Find a good spot to jump from and then jump onto this rock with a triple jump and then another triple jump to over here. If you ever jump into the water besides the path that is marked, you might get stuck and have to jump back. Always keep jumping in these paths, because if you don't jump, you will walk slowly. As you can see, I get stuck right here and I have to jump back out. Try to avoid that at all costs. This next section is really long and is always the same, so it is pretty annoying. Use some to jump into the tree stump and then use the Elven Cloak with Frodo to turn invisible. Double check if both of those conditions are met or the cycle will repeat and you will lose about 15 seconds per cycle or even more. Keep walking behind Gollum in the path, making sure to always jump because you are slower when you're walking. Once again, put on the Elven Cloak with Frodo, this time up here in the corner. Do a triple jump across to this little island and then another triple jump to the next one. Again, if you fall into the water, you have to jump back to the island from the beginning. That would lose a lot of time, but it happens to me a lot. For this one, make sure to switch to some, because otherwise he won't jump into the tree stump. You always want to get to the next island as fast as possible, so the Nazgul will start its cycle a bit earlier. Walk into the cave with Frodo and then also walk into it with Sam. You will know that it works when Sam is putting his head down. From here you will be crouched, so you once again have to be rolling. Use the rope as soon as possible to get to the other side, jump off and then roll up that hill onto the tree stump. Switch to Frodo and then destroy the tree as fast as possible. An alternative strat, here shown by the runner the hamster, is to repeatedly jump and then attack with player 1 or some to not get into the crouch position and then jump over here to immediately destroy the tree. This is faster, but you need to make sure to get the other player over to the other side. This is just a bit faster as far as I know, because you would have to want me to see it and it makes this part quite a bit harder. Make sure to get both hobbits over, because you will need them for one more cycle. From here you can start jumping again. Do a triple jump from this spot up to the rock on the side. Make sure to jump onto the mainland before jumping into the tree stump with Sun, or otherwise he will super jump back out into the water. Do the exact same triple jump with Frodo and then put on the Elven Cloak. Then switch to Sam. Here, once again, you are forced into the rolling state. So keep rolling until you reach this tree and then go behind it. At some point you will be able to jump normally, so you can jump behind it and then plant the plant. This skips a puzzle of building a bridge. I go over here onto these dead bushes so I don't get stuck on that flower. In this last room you want to take down 2 of these big elephants. So you jump up onto the rope and then jump to the back rope so you are closer to this rope, which you have to pick up, and then climb up to the last enemy. Walk to the left side again with Faramir to get to the last elephant, jump onto the rope. You don't have to go to the back one here since it's not that much faster. Then jump onto this rope and then get up to the enemy. Once you kill the last elephant, the level is over. I lost quite some time in this level, although it doesn't seem like it. You might have noticed that there is only 20 minutes left in this run, but we have only completed 2 levels of the second movie. How is that even possible? Let's look at the route for the 2 towers. In the 2 towers, the Fellowship is split in 2 groups. You have Sam and Frodo, and also Gollum, and you have Gimli, Legolas and Aragorn, and also at some point Gandalf. What you are intended to do is play the first 2 levels with Sam and Frodo, then play the 3 levels with Legolas, Gimli and Aragorn and also Gandalf, and then at the end you play Osgiliath, the green one right at the bottom. Osgiliath is meant to be played last, but we can kinda skip that. The level trigger only spawns once you've either beaten the Dead Marshes, the 2nd level for Sam and Frodo, or Helm's Deep, the 3rd level with Aragorn, Legolas and Gimli. Now, the shortest way you would think is just to play Taming Gollum, then Dead Marshes, and then just walk straight to Osgiliath. But there is one problem. Sauron has his big eye on Osgiliath, so you cannot enter it. It is blocked off, and if you try to walk in there, you just get pushed out. So Sauron only takes his eye away from Osgiliath once you've beaten Helm's Deep, and only then you can enter Osgiliath. The oldest route that the runners used was to play all the 3 levels with Aragorn, Gimli and Legolas. First Track Hobbits, then Warg-Attack, and then at the end, Battle of Helm's Deep. From there you would just ride Aragorn's horse right to Osgiliath. Since Sauron's eye isn't there anymore, you can just walk into the transition. This is not intended because you have to jump over the river with your horse. It is intended to go there with Frodo and Sam. The a bit newer route starts by playing the 2 levels with Frodo and Sam, so Taming Gollum and Dead Marshes. From there you walk to the Black Gate and then you can do this hill roll over the Black Gate. So we can just skip it.
One does not simply walk into Mordor.
Well, but we do. After walking through Mordor and past Cliff Ungol, we walk through Shelob's lair. We can walk on some collision on the right side or also on the left, but that one is way harder. And then you can triple jump into the hole. Otherwise you wouldn't be able to make it through Shelob's lair in reverse. Our main goal is to get to the south part of Osgiliath, so we can then from there go into the transition for the next level, which is normally not possible because Sauron's eye is blocking it, but we have a skip so we can just walk in there. We will look at that a bit later though. But since then I found a new trick which overall saves just about 1 minute in this split. Start the exact same with Taming Gollum and the Dead Marshes, but then we actually continue walking the intended way to Osgiliath. Now we again want to get to the south part of Osgiliath, so we do a launch right here, so we can get down there, and from there go into the trigger. So now let's do this big sequence break. We drop in player 2 and switch him to Frodo and player 1 to Faramir. Then we walk to Osgiliath. You can see the orange glowing part down there. That is where Sauron's eye is looking. We want to get up to the hillside on our left, so we launch off of this branch. We position player 2 so that Frodo's head is just a bit into that glowing orange part. My setup for this trick goes as follows. Adjust the camera to about this angle, then walk down into the branch with Frodo, and then keep tapping to the right. My setup for this skip is to have Frodo's head just a little bit into the orange circle. You can see it on his hair. Then grab him with Faramir and take off. Drop player 2 out and now you are on top with Faramir. Then drop down onto the other side. Now we are on the south part of Osgiliath. If you want to walk into this orange circle, this doesn't really work. You immediately get pushed out again and a loud sound plays and Sauron's eye appears on your screen. And also if we jump into the water, we get stuck and have to jump out again. The character jumps to the last piece of valid ground. The pushing out from Sauron's eye also only works on valid ground. Our goal of the skip is to try to stand somewhere on this line at all cost. This line is about halfway into the water, and this ground is actually invalid, which means if you would stand there and then jump into the water, your character would super jump back out to where he's standing right now. That also means that Sauron won't push us out. Now here comes the problem. We have a big rock in front of us, right past that wall. You will slide off of this rock most of the time. But underneath the rock is actually normal water, which you will get stuck in and have to super jump back out again, like you can see from my first attempt. This is probably the hardest trick in the run, but it also saves the most time out of all. As you can see, I got paused on that attempt. So I walk onto this rock and then slide down on the other side and hope I don't get into the normal water and I have to super jump out. Now the hardest part is over. I just need to make sure to not go too deep into the water, so you have to super jump out, and also make sure to not go too much on land, because then you will get on valid ground and get scared away. And here we do want to get scared away, so we get pushed directly into the trigger by Sauron. Immediately switch to Faramir and walk up the stairs. Jump from this rock pile behind the wall and try to land inside of it. Right behind that wall is actually a kill plane, so you would get killed immediately. So your goal is to stay about halfway into the wall and halfway look out. Like right here. Try to hold your control stick just a little bit out of the dead zone, so your character will start tiptoeing. You want to hold your stick just a little bit down and mostly to the left. If you are too far back in the wall, you will die. But if you are too far to the front of the wall, you will just clip out. This trick is really precise, so definitely practice it a lot. When you are about this far into the shadow, you can walk upwards. In this section, don't jump or anything, or else you will die to the kill plane. All of this ground is actually not valid ground. So if you would die, you would respawn all the way back at the beginning of the trick and would have to do the wall clip again. So to make sure that that doesn't happen to me, I stand right here into this pillar to stand on valid ground and get my respawn there. Once you are at this vine right here, walk upwards until your player icon disappears. Then wait another split second or so and then triple jump over. Destroy the 3 pillars and try not to hit the trigger for this Nazgul. Then build the stairs, walk up and switch to your bow. After you have switched, you can shoot the Nazgul. I drop in player 2 right here, so this section is a little bit faster with both. Destroy this scaffolding right here and keep walking. If you get too close to the abyss, the tree will get scared away and you are unable to act for a split second. Walk into this tower and then walk across the gap. With the player that is further along, grab this water tower on the right and throw it at the fire. Once the fire is out, you can walk through with both players. Grab this rock and throw it at the tower at the top. Pick up the other rock with the other player and then walk up. Then throw it at the second tower. Somehow this rock missed, I don't know how, but it did, but I just got another one. Once it falls down, walk up with both players and then remove both of the barricades. After that, the 2 towers is over. My Osgiliath split was a lot faster than my last one. That is mainly because of the new skip that I have found, which changed the route, which optimally saves about 1 minute and 20, which it almost did. And I also had a bad Osgiliath in my PB, so it saved even more time. With Aragorn, go to the map and then warp to Edoras. From there, jump down and then walk into the trigger. After skipping the cutscene, switch to Legolas and then walk to Dun Harrow. Take as tight of a line as possible through these chicanes. Start moving forward with both players.
I see shapes of men and of horses.
Try not to walk into these glowing white circles that you can see. If you would get stuck in them and have to respawn.
Thickets through a shroud of mist. The dead are following. They have been summoned.
The dead summons.
Start destroying these 4 pillars with Aragorn. Here again, try to not walk into those circles with the smoke coming out, cause then a ghost would spawn and you can only kill ghosts with Aragorn, so you don't want that. After you've destroyed all of the pillars, build the stair with Gimli or player 2 and then jump up with Legolas and Gimli. Make sure that Aragorn is actually following you, because the AI is really not great at following you through the level and just getting stuck. I switched to him a few times to make sure that he follows us. With Gimli, double jump into this spot to roll up and destroy the wall. This jump is very precise and loses a lot of time if you don't get it. Fortunately, Flop, a runner of this game, has discovered this lineup. It works absolutely perfect. Once you're on the top, jump slash with Gimli and then walk through with Legolas and Gimli. As soon as you're able to hit the targets with Legolas, aim for both of them and shoot them. Now you can switch to Aragorn with player 1 and build the bridge with player 2. When you arrive right here, you can do this roll up the wall to skip this section. From there, destroy the pillars with Aragorn and then walk through with Gimli. Destroy the wall with Gimli and then jump over it with both players, or else you will get stuck in the debris. Position Aragorn right by the gate and then do this double jump up with Gimli. Destroy the rock and then build the hedge and go through. On the other side, push this turnstile and then go through the gate immediately with Aragorn. There's a new strat that we've just implemented recently. At the end of the first section, you can roll up this rock to land on top and then immediately turn the turnstile. So you can do this section quite a bit faster. Immediately start smashing all of the rocks with Gimli. And then build the scaffolding with Aragorn, because Aragorn is the only one not scared by the ghosts. Also start clearing out all of the ghosts so they don't annoy your player 2. Once the Ghost King comes down, jump on top and hit him. Once from the top, once from the right, and then once from the left. After the platform is destroyed, immediately start building it again with Aragorn. Once again, clear out all of the ghosts so they won't annoy your player 2. And then jump on top and hit the Ghost King on the left, on the right, and then again on the left. For this last cycle there are 4 pillars that you have to build. You immediately want to start building the one on the top left. The Ghost King will then start going to each pillar individually and will start on the one on the top left. So jump up with Aragorn, then go to the bottom left one and build that one. And then go to the bottom right one and build that one. And then to the top right one. As you can see, I missed a cycle with the Ghost King on the bottom left one, so I had to wait a bit and try to catch up with him. Try to already be on the pillar when he comes to you. Once dealing the 4th hit, the level is over. My Paths of the Dead split was pretty mediocre. I now know because of the new strat we have quite a bit of time save, so I can save about 15 seconds here. After the cutscene we are once again on horseback and we can do a 6-7-20 down the hill. Right past Minas Tirith and then go to the Pelennor fields to start the next level. This entire first room is a complete auto-scroller, you don't have to press anything. This room is long enough so you can go to the toilet or something, so you can have a long break. Pelennor in general is a really boring and long level with an auto-scroller and also a semi-auto-scroller in the second section, so you kind of have a break split before the last two important ones. This room is kind of a semi-auto-scroller, there are always two orcs coming at you and the Nazgul trying to hit you. You can just dodge the attacks from the Nazgul, and once he screams he will smash his head down onto the ground, and then you have to hit the head 3 times. What you can try to do is hit on the exact same frame with both players, so you will skip 1 hit. This only saves about 1.5 seconds or so, but it is just a nice time save if you get it. You try to lure the Witch King to the bottom, but at the same time you build the pad on the right. You want him to first go to the pad on the right, because otherwise they would lose time. But unfortunately I actually didn't get him to go to the right first, so I lost a bit of time. Once he's smashed the pad, you can just hit him from the back. Once he's hit the 3rd pad, you can position your player 2 on the correct spot and hope you go into the circle that will appear right here.
No man can kill me. Die.
Once the camera pan finishes, you can just press special and then press special again with player 1. That ends the section. In this last section you will first have to take down 2 elephants and at the end 3. So start shooting the elephant with the bow holes for Legolas and then jump up. And the other elephants with the glowing rocks, you can just destroy those with Aragorn and then start spamming action or attack. Once you've killed the guy with Legolas, you will jump down and then just press special to shoot the arrow into the elephant's head. Then, once both are dead, you can walk all the way to the right of the room. The first 2 elephants will always be 2 with the rock legs, so just walk with the first one with Aragorn, and then once he reaches the other side of the room, like exactly on the edge, you can start hitting him. Try to hit him as late as possible, so that the Legolas elephant is actually in the room, not like I did right here. I cannot jump on that last elephant with Legolas, because there is still traffic and the elephant at the front has to move away. But then you can just kill the other 2 elephants with both players, and that should end the level. My Pelennor split was pretty good, but I still think I can save some time here. All you wanna do is get one player onto either Frodo or Sam, or even Gollum, and from there you can warp to the Dead Marshes. Again, in this movie we have quite a sequence break. You're intended to play the first 2 levels with Sam and Frodo, and then once you've beaten the other 3 levels with the rest of the characters, you can go into the last level, Mount Doom. Now what we do is we play the 3 levels with the rest of the characters that I've marked in green. So we first play Paths of the Dead and then Pelennor Fields. And then we want to play Blackgate. Now the problem is we would have to walk there through the Dead Marshes, which is quite slow. But Sam and Frodo can actually warp to the Dead Marshes, which means we can just warp there and then walk directly to the Black Gate. The older route in Two Towers would have led us right through Mordor and also past Black Gate. That would activate the map stone for Black Gate, which we could warp to and then directly go into the Black Gate level. So in this split we lose about 20 seconds to the old route, but the time save in the Two Towers more than makes up for it. So after we switch to Frodo and then warp to the Dead Marshes, we can then just walk to the Black Gate. And from there, activate the trigger to start the level. We skip all of the level in the entire first room, which is really fast. So drop in player 2 and position him there, and then switch to Legolas. My setup for this trick is to position player 2 right there and then walk to the left side of him and then just press D-pad right and then pick him up. That should always work. The pickup is pretty broken, you just never stop sliding and you can just slide up this slope on the outside of the ring. Once you're high enough, you can then just let go of the hobbit and drop him out. Out of bounds, the movement is a bit weird, because the orcs behave very weirdly. You cannot hit them, but they can hit you. They're always on a set path and they can still hit you even if you jump out of range. Just try to not get hit. Walk to the bottom of the level and then try to get to these 2 rocks right here. There is an out of bounds trigger right here that we can hit to instantly end the level. This is probably the most difficult trick in the entire run. I still struggle with it and have to practice it a lot. We will do 2 jumps. There is some weird collision out here and your first jump should land about on this big rock. The rock of course doesn't have collision, it is just a texture lineup. You wanna land on top of the rock or just a bit to the right of it. The rock on the bottom left is the lineup for the trigger. The trigger looks just about like this. It only activates when you hit it from the back. It is just a bit under the ground. What you want to do is jump from the first rock diagonally down and then aim for this trigger to hit it from the back. So you have to hold up. So you jump down left and then aim up at the pebble to hit the transition. This trick is really hard, but it saves so much time. The orcs are probably the most annoying thing about this whole section, because they can just hit you. I missed the trigger here, which definitely loses some time. My Blackgate in this run wasn't good. I know it says here it is a gold, but that is because we had a route change and I don't have a split yet. After we get back to the hub world, you can drop in player 2 and that will be Sam or Frodo. This tricks the game to thinking you have already completed the secret stairs and Cirith Ungol, the first 2 levels for Sam and Frodo. So they drop you in the orc disguise that you only get after completing Cirith Ungol, and from there you can just walk to Mount Doom and trigger the last level. Frodo is in a really weird state here. It is very similar to being crouched, so he cannot jump. So we do the entire section with player 2 or some. Double or even triple jump onto this rock and then jump onto these bars. If you jump onto them the wrong way, you will fall to your death. This doesn't matter as long as you trigger the camera pan. From there, jump up the bars. The old strat that we used right here is to get up to this ledge and then do a triple jump over. The newer strat, which is just a bit faster, is jumping onto this rock and hope that you get onto normal ground. I use this lineup and then jump directly to the right with a double jump. You will then get a respawn on top of the rock and then you can just jump to the other side. Here is one of the most difficult triple jumps in the game. And then we go onto this box and do a double jump onto some collision on top of this gate. And then we can go on top and jump over these. Then jump onto the rock on the left and then double jump up. From there you can go into the volcano. We have a boss fight section against Gollum inside the volcano. Spam attack with player 1 or Frodo to get him off of him. Then all you need to do with player 1 is continuously walk off the edge to kill him. I will explain why later. Hit Frodo with some once he comes to you, and then you just have to wait until the camera pan starts. Build a platform with some, and then jump up. We are walking off of the edge with player 1, because Frodo would normally always jump onto player 1 and then you would have to attack him again until he jumps off. By always walking off the edge, Gollum will never jump onto Frodo and we can immediately hit him with some. Double jump onto the left pillar and then jump up your platforms again. Then walk all the way to Gollum again and hit him. Once the camera pane is over, let go with player 2 to fall into the lava and hit Gollum with player 1. Once player 2 respawns, hit Gollum and then he will jump onto Frodo, triggering a cutscene. Then you only have to spam special and you are already in the last auto-scroller section, which will end the run. You again don't have to press anything to do this section, it will always be this fast. This Mount Doom was extremely good, it only lost a few seconds to a theoretical best. Once the game blacks out and the cutscene will start, the run is over. I had an incredible pace in the first half and continued with good splits, and also of course the new route gave us a lot of time save. And that ends the run right there. I hope you've enjoyed and learned something about this run and LEGO games in general. Feel free to join the LEGO speedrunning Discord. I will have it linked in the description. If you have any questions regarding the run or anything else, feel free to ask in the channel or DM me on Discord. Thanks for watching and I hope I will see you soon.